Welcome back, welcome back.
Royalty. Yeah.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for those who don't know me, my name is Tiara and thank you for watching. And here we just react to movies and TV series and dibble and dabble in makeup from here and there. So if you like that type of stuff, then keep on watching. So today I wanted to talk about a series that really had me shook. It was jarring. It was aesthetically very dark, but something that I've never really witnessed before on screen, being a television series, and made me hungry sometimes. And that's a problem because of what this show is about. When I watch stuff like this with Hannibal, and if you don't know, Hannibal is a cannibal, hence the rhyme, Hannibal the cannibal. Yeah, okay. So this series just made me realize, like, why when I go to people's houses, or when we used to go to people's houses, because some of y'all still not social distancing, but that's another conversation. Anyways, but this made me realize, like, why I was always paranoid eating at, like, other people's houses. Like, I never wanted to eat at other houses. I kind of just was like, I'll just wait to get something on my way home. You can't just be accepting food from everybody because you do not know what people give you. I don't play those games. It was created by Bryan Fuller for NBC based on the Thomas Harris novels Red Dragon, Hannibal, and Hannibal Rising. Many thought that the show was canceled, but the series changed networks, moving from NBC to Amazon Prime, which is where I first ended up watching it, but now it's accessible to Netflix. And it's 3 seasons so far, and I really hope that they make a 4th one. This series, aside from like The Boys, is the most explicit series that I've seen in television so far. And that says a lot for me because I'm a big horror fanatic, and sometimes I had to like jerk back and really turn my eyes away from the screen because some moments were so just crazy. So this series focused on a character of the Hannibal franchise named William Graham, played by Hugh Dancy in the series, and him being an FBI profiler whose mental state is very fragile. Now, he's the best person for the job because he can actually put himself in the shoes of a serial killer, have that mindset of a serial killer. And honestly, without this job, being a profiler, he's not that far away from being an actual serial killer himself. In the series, it's told to the audience that Will has an enhanced empathy trait. This wasn't diagnosed by a doctor because Will never actually got tested and treated for this condition, but he says that he has it because he diagnosed himself. Now, Hannibal's true identity isn't revealed until further on in the show, although Will is constantly suspicious of him. I personally don't know how they didn't know Hannibal was a killer because, I'm sorry, Mads Mikkelsen, like, played this role to a T. He played it too well for my liking. I wouldn't be left alone in a room with him. I'm meaning by Hannibal, of course. I'm sure that Mads is a very nice guy in reality, but you see Hannibal, he's very manipulative and sly and able to just slither his way into people's heads. He is a psychiatrist after all, but turns majority of his patients into serial killers. And boy oh boy, this show has many villains. Well, I would say twisted, monstrous individuals. And trust, it's some heavy content to digest. I mean, people were turned into living color palettes, which scared the hell out of me. If you are next to anybody and they just turn to you and say you have nice skin, run. Please run. And don't, if your alarm goes off in your car outside, do not go check it. Do not turn your back. Just stay in the house and hit the alarm in the safety of your own home. Don't do stupid stuff because a lot of people did stupid stuff in this series and it really irked my nerves. It went from that to a woman turning people into beehives, a pharmacist was growing mushrooms out of living bodies, and a petty, spoiled, rich asshole that's not even a good enough name for him. He was honestly the worst character. I legit hate him. I still hate him till today because his sister thought of having a baby, and as a loophole of their father's misogynistic values that only male heirs could acquire his fortune, He had his own personal doctors perform surgery on her, taking out her uterus, and of course she had no idea this was happening until she woke up the next morning, bandages around her waist. And he also took her last eggs and placed the embryos inside of a pig. A pig. Like, honestly, how horrible can a person be? He literally was the main person I actually wanted Hannibal to destroy. I wanted him to use his horrible powers, his evil powers, for this justice that needed to be served against this man, because he was horrible. His name was Mason Berger, and he was the most horrible person. And I remember him actually being depicted on the films, but anyways, I don't remember I think he was in the second Hannibal film though, not the first one. There's also a lot of dark humor within the series. For instance, Hannibal is known to his colleagues as a great chef who cooks these exotic fancy meals on his own time and likes to just feed everyone. But for those who don't know, and I doubt this is new information to a lot of people, but Hannibal indulges in cannibalism. As I said before, Hannibal the cannibal cooks for his guests. Meat is just not a regular meat, it's human flesh. But I'm not gonna lie, some of these meals did look good. Like, I mean, I'm gonna cringe. Some of these meals did look good, but it's so cringe-worthy because the people eating it are just smiling and laughing and being merry and are completely oblivious to what they're digesting. Another thing I want to touch upon is Will's and Hannibal's relationship. Now, it's very interesting. They're not friends, they're more like frenemies and have a really awkward romance. Like, once Hannibal's true nature is revealed, he grows to detest Hannibal, but can't help but realize that because Hannibal served as his therapist for a while, he was able to get inside of his head, and I'm talking about Will. And with this empathetic condition, Will feels like him and Hannibal have a lot of similarities. With these similarities, Will envisions this creature, this like black figure with sharp antlers, and it's really scary, but this figure just depicts how Will sees Hannibal in his mind, and then how he starts to see himself transform into having like a part of Hannibal characteristics within him. Another character I liked was Jack Crawford, and he is the head of the behavioral science division in the FBI, and he's played by Laurence Fishburne, which I was very excited because I never really watched Laurence Fishburne be in a horror series or film or anything like that. I've never seen him actually be in that, so it was a different light to see him in, and often ate many of Hannibal's meals. But I have to say, he sure did put up a fight when he found out the truth about Hannibal, and trust me, that is a scene that was so screen worthy. It was so good. And honestly, Hannibal could fight, and I can't talk enough about how this show was shot, styled, and edited. I felt like I was watching a long horror film or thriller film. The only real con that I have is towards season 3, the series did start to drag a little bit. I feel like they only threw in certain random characters to fill off like a checkbox. When it comes to diversity and stuff, I don't really feel like the characters, some that were implemented in season 3, actually had real use. I just think it was trying to like check off a diversity box, because then with that, the characters don't really add any value to the story. So some of my favorite characters besides Will, Hannibal, and John was another psychiatrist. He really had a bad end, and I'm not going to spoil it, but he was done so dirty by Hannibal on several occasions. Hannibal honestly was on another level of petty when it came to him. Yeah, I believe his name was Frederick. He was another psychiatrist who had a real big ego. Hannibal was so petty to Frederick just because he didn't like his attitude. And he just did a whole bunch to him, and I was so mad. But not only that, like, I mean, the level of pettiness that Hannibal had, he fed this guy who tried to pose as like what they called Hannibal before they knew it was actually him, was the Chesapeake Ripper. And so this guy went to prison, well, in the psych ward, because he said that he was a Chesapeake Ripper, and Hannibal didn't like somebody trying to take his name. So he ended up capturing the guy and feeding him each one of his limbs. And I'm like, and the guy's just trying to act normal, like he's just gonna casually eat his limbs. And I'm just like, this is too much. I cannot take this craziness. Like, this is too much crazy, too much. The funny thing to me was when Will was at like his tipping point with Hannibal, like not even wanting to entertain him anymore. They had went through this entire series either trying to kill one another or trying to, like, I don't know, it was like, I try to kill you and fail, now you try to kill me and fail, let's still be trying to be friends. Although Will never considered really Hannibal a friend like that, but Hannibal saw himself in Will a little bit. So it's like a strange bromance. And so when Will told Hannibal he didn't want anything to do with him anymore, like, Will told Hannibal he didn't want anything to do with him. He didn't want to know where he was. He just wanted him out of his life. And Hannibal took that as, oh, okay, you want me out of your life? Well, I'm gonna tell you when I'm gonna get out of your life. Then he ends up giving himself to the authorities because now he wants Will to know where he is at all times. Like, the ultimate pettiness. Hannibal can't take rejection. If you do watch the series, it's a lot to digest, but it's really good. I hope the series does continue with a season 4, because season 3 was literally a cliffhanger. And if you watch it, then you know what I mean. But yeah, that was a bad pun. But okay, I'm gonna go now. I just cannot accept that the show ended like that. I really do hope they revive it for another season 4, because I did hear that they were trying to cancel it, but now that it's on Netflix, it's way more accessible to a lot of different audiences. Let me know what you think about the series. Are you going to watch it if you haven't watched it? What are your thoughts? I would love to know. Leave them down below. Make sure to also give this video a like and also hit the sub button for more content. Follow me on my social medias. And as always, make sure to have a blessed day. Alright, bye!